Good evening, welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is the Marion City Council meeting for Thursday, May 8th, 2025. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Roll call, please.
Mr. Jensen,
Here.
Mr. Harper,
Here.
Mr. Miskman,
Here.
Mayor Abu-Osley,
Here.
Ms. Menzer. Here. Mr. Brandt.
Here.
Mr. Sternad.
Here. Thank you. The next item is a moment of silence. Thank you. First order of business this evening on Tuesday, I made a statement and I feel it's worth repeating at this meeting also regarding the event that took place at on April 19th in our uptown, where we had people with masks on walking around uptown with hateful messaging. Let me be clear. Our city values diversity and belonging for all people, no matter who they are. Our diversity is our strength and we celebrate it. Our focus has always been on serving all people and providing them with the best opportunities. We want residents and visitors to feel safe in our city, secure and welcome. We want to be a place where all people of all cultures and all identities can thrive. And acts of discrimination will not be tolerated. Now, the views of the demonstrators on April 19th do not reflect the values of our community, and they don't define who we are. I personally believe that those views don't have a sympathetic ear in our city. The First Amendment right to peaceful assembly and expression is guaranteed to all people, even when their views do not reflect our own. The event did not result in violence or violations of the law and ended quickly and peacefully. And the fact that it happened doesn't change who we are. Marion remains today as it was before, during, and after that event, a welcoming community where people of diverse backgrounds can feel safe, thrive, and contribute to making Marion the best small city in America. With that, we will move on to proclamations. We have two proclamations this evening. The first one, and I don't believe we have anyone here to accept the proclamation, is for Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. I'm happy to read this one. Technically, I am an Asian American, Southwest Asian. Whereas the contributions of Americans of Asian and Pacific Islander descent are firmly woven into the diverse fabric of our community and nation. And whereas during Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we celebrate the remarkable accomplishments of Americans of Asian and Pacific Islander heritage and have enriched our great country and helped to define our history. And whereas these Americans bolster our economy as entrepreneurs, business owners, and employees who initiate and expand opportunities for their families, communities, and our country. And whereas their languages, art, cuisine, and other cultural elements have enriched the American experience. And whereas this month we honor the more than 20 million Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders who call America home, including those in our own community. We recognize the achievements of Americans of Asian, American, and Pacific Islander heritage in education, business, science, the arts, government, and the armed forces. We celebrate their story as a unique part of the American story. Now, therefore, I, Nicholas Abu-Osley, Mayor of the City of Marion, Iowa, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month in the City of Marion, and encourage all residents to observe this month and celebrate the achievements and contributions of Americans of Asian and Pacific Islander descent. Thank you. The next proclamation is for American Legion Auxiliary Poppy Days, and Councilmember Harper will present that one. We do have someone here to accept it. So Susan Costello, please come forward and
Freedom is a privilege to be treasured by all residents of the city of Marion. And whereas this privilege has not been free, but carries with it immeasurable sacrifices by our veterans, and whereas in yearly observation of said sacrifices, I hereby honor the veterans and their importance in the preservation of our freedoms. And whereas the poppy is a symbol of remembrance for all veterans who serve this country and aid the living veterans and their families. Now, therefore, I, Grant Harper, on behalf of Mayor Aboasali, do hereby proclaim May 15th, 16th, and 17th, 2025 as American Legion Auxiliary Poppy Days, and urge all residents of the city of Marion to pause and honor our veterans by wearing the poppy, the American Legion Auxiliaries Memorial Flower. No? No, okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Susan,
you.
would you like to say anything? Please go ahead if you'd like to speak.
Just thank you. Thank you all for your support and thanks for having me. And hope we see you all at the Marion businesses this next weekend to support us and our veterans. Thank you all very much.
All right, the next item is our first public forum. We do have two public forums on our agenda. The first one is for any comments to the council which are associated with the public hearing. I'm sorry, it's on the agenda, but not associated with the public hearing. If anyone's here to address council on an item that is part of a public hearing, there will be time during the public hearing. I would like to read the rules for public comments, just as a reminder. Anyone wishing to address council should fill out the yellow card at the end of the table and hand it to the city clerk before speaking. Please do not approach the dais where the council sits. If you have handouts or materials to deliver to the council, please hand them to the city clerk. Please speak into the microphone because the meetings are recorded. And all persons wishing to speak will be provided 5 minutes maximum to make their comments. Please do not engage in conduct or speech that is imminently threatening to any person or which is disparaging of any person, and keep comments pertinent to the topic at hand. Please do not make comments that incite violence or which are obscene. Please avoid repeating comments or points that have been previously shared by other speakers. Please do not engage in conduct that disrupts the orderly progress of the meeting or engage in speech or conduct which interferes with others' ability to participate in the meeting. Failure to adhere to these guidelines or engage in any disruptive speech or behavior will, after a warning, result in removal from the meeting. Appreciate everyone's cooperation with these rules. So at this time, we will take comments on any topic that is on the agenda but not associated with the public hearing. Anyone here to address council, please come forward. There will be time at the end of the meeting for, in the second public comment period, for any other comments, okay? I saw your looks of confusion, so, okay. Anyone here to address council on any topic that is on the agenda but not part of a public hearing, please come forward. Okay, seeing that no one's coming forward, we'll close this part of the hearing, proceed to the consent agenda.
Your Honor, I move to approve the consent agenda as follows. Items A1 through F1, resolutions numbers 32365 through 32381.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented, including items A1 through F1, resolutions 32365 through 32381. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved. For the next section, I will turn over the meeting to the Mayor Pro Tem.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve the consent agenda with Mayor Abu Asli's abstention as follows. Item E1, which is Resolution 32382.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda with the mayor's abstention as follows. Item E1, resolution number 32382. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with the mayor's abstention. Now we have the regular agenda. The next item is still me. That is a public hearing on the disposition of city-owned property in the Collins Road Extension Urban Renewal Area, Marion Airport Runway. Do we have a presentation on this?
Just what's on the slide before the council. Council directed staff to reissue the request for proposals for the Marion Airport runway. Proposals were due on May 6th. We did receive one proposal that met the minimum requirements of the RFP from 530 Investments LLC. Purchase price of the runway is $50,000. Sorry, $500,000. Provisions relating to the improvements, support from the city to have that extended to 4,000 feet, not at the expense of the city. They did request property tax rebate up to $50,000. That's not in one shot, but would be staggered over a period of time. And that's, I think, do we have next steps? That's on the resolution. So we have a timeline on the next item.
Okay, did we receive any comments outside of the meeting?
I have not received any.
All right, thank you. Now is the time if anyone wants to come up and speak on this specific agenda item. So the public hearing is open. Does anyone want to come up and speak? Once, going twice. Seeing no one come up, we will close the public hearing and I will pass the meeting back to the mayor. Oh, just kidding. Sorry, it's still me.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve resolution number 32383, accepting proposal from 530 Investments LLC to purchase city-owned property in the Collins Road Extension Urban Renewal Area, Marion Airport Runway.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 32383. Are there any questions or discussion? You said you had more.
Yeah, just if we can go to the next slide. So these would be the next steps that we would do, meet with 530 Investments. We'd prepare the necessary real estate documents and then bring that back before the city council for formal consideration and approval of the purchase agreement. The proposal did have a contemplated closing date of June 25th. Certainly, some of the things that we would have to do is talk to the FAA, IDOT, and just make sure from a regulatory standpoint that everything lines up and is coterminous. So that's part of the due diligence that we are continuing to work on as well.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions or discussion?
Just a comment.
Sure.
So I think the primary objective of this evolution of activity being consummated by this is the fact that we want to maintain the airport in its operational condition. And in this case, it's simply returning it to essentially private ownership. But the key aspect is that the airport maintains its operational status.
Anyone else? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving resolution number 32383, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions?
Aye.
The resolution passes with one abstention. And now I can pass the meeting back to the mayor. Sorry about that.
Mayor, I move to approve resolution 32384, approving a bond purchase agreement for the sale of general obligation corporate purpose bonds. This will be series 2025A.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 32384, approving the bond purchase agreement for the sale of general obligation corporate purpose bonds, series 2025A. Discussion. Leanne?
We do have Michael Maloney, our partner from DA Davidson, here to present on this item tonight, and he will go ahead and cover this item and the next one to cover both the 2025A and B series.
Okay.
So I'll invite Michael Maloney up. Really appreciate working with Michael Maloney. It's been such a huge improvement having the partnership of Michael Maloney and DA Davidson, not only with bonding, but with modeling, and we really appreciate that he's here tonight.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Thanks, folks. I'll be generally short and sweet over each topic. I want to make sure everyone's questions are answered on these. I will say kind of the cool part on the 2025B is it's sort of the combined efforts that we've had here. The couple projects being financed and refinanced there were some of the first that we got to work on. So good to see those come to fruition over the last couple of years. We'll go through these slides here real quick. Just a little current bond market overview, kind of the industry requirement here. Obviously, the tariff and inflationary concerns persist. There's been some volatility in the financial markets that you may be aware of. We've definitely seen some movement in interest rates. That being said, the last month to 6 weeks, the general tone on the municipal market has been favorable from the city's perspective, with interest rates going lower than what we'd have predicted during budget season or even going into April. So that is a good thing. I always remind folks on kind of the middle bullets here that there's two factors in the city's bond pricing, what you can control to a certain extent and what you can't control. So there's an index for municipal bonds that is based on a AAA state level credit, and everyone else prices off of that with their own credit spread. That's related to the city's outstanding AA1 credit rating, which was affirmed as part of this process on the 2025A bonds. So that's the controlling what you can control. And those two elements are what determine the final pricing. So on the 2025A, just looking at the comparable marketplace, always try to have some Iowa bonds in there for you. A couple other AA credits, Hiawatha and Oskaloosa over the last week, $2.5 to $3 million. Those are a little bit smaller than what you've seen historically because the city's bond issuance is a little bit smaller. I think part of the process that the city's gone under, cleaning up its CIP, identifying funding sources, by issuing only about $4 million this year for the next year's CIP projects list is just a result of the multi-year effort of planning that the city's undertaken working with staff. On the 2025B, we'll talk in more detail shortly. This was a little bit of a unique transaction because of the credit quality that related to the TIF nature of the financing. For comparables, really looking outside of state because of the unique tax status and appropriation considerations, the AA credits we had are a little bit stronger than what the city was rated for that specific issue. That's not the city's rating, that's that bond issues rating, to be clear, and we'll cover that later. But those were larger issues. We did outperform those for a couple reasons, and we'll talk about that. But overall, the final results were in line with those comparable transactions, which is always something we review with staff. How about just the facts for the 2025A issue? So I mentioned this is a little bit smaller than the typical CIP borrowing the city's done historically. And that's, again, part of a multi-year planning effort that staff's undertaken. The purpose is primarily focused on those fiscal 26 projects. I mentioned the reaffirmation of the city's AA1 credit rating. To be clear, that's the second highest possible rating next to AAA. I know that staff's likely provided you with this information, but I want to make sure that everyone understands how outstanding of a credit quality that is. That's about the city, because of its financial policies and follow through with decisions of council, is doing everything in its power that it can control, considering its tax base and population. I will say staff did a particularly good job, not just during the credit visit, but before that, providing information to the folks at Moody's. The Moody's folks were impressed, and we had a very thorough discussion. We were able to highlight some of the excellent economic development projects, including the park project that I got to tour here before the meeting today. So those are some of those really cool feather in a hat things that we might not see on a quantitative basis, but qualitatively really build color for those analysts as we go forward evaluating the city of Marion. From a standard on interest rates here, this is a 20-year issue. relatively level debt structure, average life of 12 years at a 4.14%. That's significantly lower than what we had in the budget process for planning purposes, and therefore the annual payments are significantly less on over the life of the 20-year bonds. These are callable in 10 years, and we did get orders from local banking institutions. I knew of one when we put this together. I found about another one on the drive, and there is a broker that typically does business with other Iowa banks that has some coverage in the corridor. I will provide that information to staff, but we're always trying to prioritize that local investment. Want to highlight that for you whenever we can. As Leanne said, I am going to talk about the B series here briefly. This one had two purposes that are TIF related, and working with staff over the last several years, we always highlighted combining these into a single financing to reduce issuance costs and level of effort for city staff and the other parties. So it was good to actually capitalize that after years of planning. I mentioned before that this specific series has a different credit rating. It's not the city's credit rating, it's this bond issue's credit rating. That's 2 notches lower than the city's rating, and that's because of the annual appropriation nature of the debt, as well as what's considered the non-essential purpose of the project. I don't mean non-essential as not important. I mean it's not water, sewer, streets. This is purely economic development focused. It is a taxable transaction, so comparing interest rates is not apples to apples with the last series. The average life in this was a little bit shorter because part of it was refinancing an outstanding loan. So the average life just under 10 years and the true interest cost of about 5.6%. That again is pretty favorable considering where we were planning on a project like this pricing, and it's good to see this come to fruition in a favorable environment. These are callable in 8 years. This is a really unique type of credit. While we do this on a regular basis in Iowa and around the country, this is not typically something you'd see Iowa banks purchase. That being said, one of the state's largest Iowa bank buyers did buy the city's bonds. And I thought that was respective of the attractiveness of what Marion brought, as well as the developed nature of not just these projects, but the TIF areas in which they're related to. So just wanted to pass that information on for folks. I'm just going to summarize a little bit of today and not spend too much time, but working with staff and the city's bond attorney, Dorsey and Whitney, we did have everything out last week to potential investors and made sure to have coverage with those local banking institutions. We will keep knocking those doors regardless of market conditions because the continuity is important over the long-term efforts of the city. I want to be clear, it is a tough environment on interest rates right now. Municipal rates slipping under 4%. Maybe not be so excited for some of the council members that recognize we did deals at 2% not that long ago, but it's very, very favorable to be under 4% for you and very challenging for banks. So that's the connection that we're always trying to make and maintain when we can. We got pre-pricing feedback. We're able to really follow through on what our plan was today efficiently at 10 o'clock, having everything wrapped up by 12:30. And I think that goes to the planning, the high credit quality, and just our time in the market over the recent weeks. The last actions here, so you'll approve the purchase agreements today, those 2 of those that your bond attorney had prepared for you and we've reviewed. The authorizing for these loan documents will be at your next meeting, and then we'll have closing delivery funds on June 3rd. I'll highlight that on the redemption. I know city staff's work to make that as efficient a process as possible to maximize the value of that refinancing savings. So just a solid summary here for you today. Not a whole lot of news, which I think is good news on these topics, but wanted to still be thorough for the mayor and council's benefit. Happy to answer any questions before I go, but want to make sure you have everything you need.
Any questions for Michael? I know Steve always has.
Not a question, Michael,
Oh.
but just a comment.
Yeah.
And that is, in the years that you've been working with us, I would echo what everybody on the staff, I'm sure has said, and you have been a huge positive factor on how the city has been operating, the financial support you give us. I mean, it's a little more straightforward, work maybe, as I would say, working with the bonds that we issue, but all the other financial support analysis that you provide for us is extremely valuable. And I just want to say on behalf of everybody up here, we truly appreciate that because it helps the city and the city council and the staff to make the best decisions for the city. So
Awesome.
appreciate that.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yep. It's great to work with the city of Marion. It's even cooler to see the projects out there. Not that I don't enjoy a good tour of a wastewater treatment facility, but
That's not sexy.
Well, I echo what Steve said. Mostly the modeling, knowing the impact of our decisions, knowing, is just having that big picture view of how every decision impacts everything, I think it has been game changing for us, and really appreciate that, just having you on our side and helping the staff with all of this. I think it's been a big part of our growing up process, and we really appreciate it. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just a member of the staff team. as-
Yeah, no,
as
I
extension, though.
agree.
I think it's one of those things I acted with the Moody's folks, though.
Yeah.
What it's done is you guys are organized and efficient now, and they get to depth and levels with staff that they don't get with other communities. So it's third parties that recognize it now, and I think that's what's really, really cool.
But yeah, I've been on here long enough to see that whole progression and the process, from 10 years ago where where you wondered, how every decision we made impacted things down the line and where it fit into the big picture. And it seemed like, sometimes decisions were made in a vacuum. And now, I just feel like we're making really well-informed decisions based on good data and good modeling. And it's good for everyone. It's good for our city, and it gives us more confidence in what we're doing. So,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you to everyone. Appreciate it. We'll take the vote. Okay. All those in favor of approving resolution number, well, are we on 32384? Yeah.
Yeah.
Resolution number 32384, approving the bond purchase agreement for the sale of general obligation corporate purpose bonds, Series 2025A. Please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 32385, approving a bond purchase agreement for the sale of taxable general obligation annual appropriation urban renewal bonds, Series 2025B.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 32385, approving the bond purchase agreement for the sale of taxable general obligation and annual appropriation urban renewal bonds, Series 2025B. Discussion. Okay, all those in favor of approving resolution number 32385, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved. Thank you.
Your Honor, I move to approve ordinance number 25-13, amending chapter 238, Article 1 of the Code of Ordinances relating to park rules and metal detecting. This is our second consideration.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 25-13, amending chapter 238, Article 1 of the Code of Ordinances. Discussion. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved. The next item is a public hearing on the 8th Avenue Bridge Repair and Boyson Trail Improvement Project. We'll open the public hearing and take a presentation from Mike.
Yes, Your Honor. So this is a little bit of a combination project. So West 8th Avenue Bridge has some pier improvements that are going to happen on it. There's also some stream bank stabilization as part of that project. And then the part that most people are probably the most excited about is paving the section of trail that's currently lime. That will start at the Indian Creek Trail that goes up to Tower Terrace. It will go underneath 8th Avenue, and then it will come down to the paved portion of the Seymour Trail. So that last segment in between will be lime. We'll go to concrete. There is still a section that goes to the Boyson Trailhead that will still be lime with the trunk sewer project. We'll wait till that gets done, and that can be a future CIP project. This gets more of our trail hard surfaced instead of just lime. Lynn County Trails Association did do a financing for it and did give $35,000 towards improvements to the trail as well. So we are recommending proceeding with it. We did receive 8 bids on this, the low bid coming in from Rachi Construction at $273,659.46. Completion date of 11/14/25 and $500 per day in liquidated damages. So staff is recommending approving the plans, the bids, and the contracts.
Okay. We'll hold questions for till the motion. At this time, we'll take comments from members of the public, either in favor or in opposition. Please come forward. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Steve Hirschner. I'm a board member of the Lynn County Trails Association. LCTA appreciates the council and staff effort that went into developing this project. This project will address, as was noted, a key trail link in the most cost-effective manner possible. LCTA is a small partner in this trail project, and we look forward to the expanded usage that this will provide for all trail users. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate the partnership. Any other comments from members of the public? Please come forward, either in favor or in opposition to this measure. Okay, we'll ask the staff if you've received comments outside the meeting.
I have not.
I have not.
Okay, we'll close the public hearing and proceed to the motion.
Mayor, I move to approve the project calendar regarding the 8th Avenue Bridge Repair and Boyson Trail Improvement Project as follows. Resolutions 32386 and 32387.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the project calendar for the 8th Avenue Bridge Repair and Boyson Trail Improvement Project, including resolutions 32386 through 32387. Discussion or questions for Mike?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
During the 8th Avenue Bridge repair part of that project, will we have a time where the entire bridge needs to be closed at once, or will traffic always be able to get through at least one lane?
We will verify as we get through the plans, but how we have it planned out right now, it will be able to be one way.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Does any of the changes on the bridge project affect or deal with the Creekside Pride, or is that separate? We don't have to, there's no combination of using the creek?
No, this is maintenance to the bridge so that we sustain the life of the bridge.
Okay, and then on the second piece, very exciting. Thank you. Thank Lynn County Trails for participation in that. We walk that almost every day and see how busy that trail section is. So, you know, my husband asks routinely, is that ever little section going to be paved? So I appreciate that we are getting that done because that will be a great benefit. This is with that, but maybe a little extra because of the amount of traffic that's on that trail right now. And it keeps getting busier and we keep seeing sometimes types of motorized vehicles that maybe shouldn't be on it. Have we thought about changing the signage on the Boyson Trail, the entrance sign? There's no sign. It says, one side says unauthorized vehicles, or, you know, authorized vehicles, unauthorized vehicles not allowed or whatever, but it doesn't say like battery operated motor vehicles allowed, but gas powered vehicles not allowed, or something that spells it out a little more clear. As we're getting into more e-bikes and we've got the scooters and as it becomes more popular and you see families and little kids and everything on there, I'm just waiting that there might be there's a lot of people unclear of what the rules are for using that. So is there a chance in a future time that we could maybe look at some of the signage for the trails on what's allowed or not?
Yeah, a lot of the trails that we've hard surfaced or even built with federal funds or TAP funds actually come with requirements on what can and cannot be on the trails. So yeah, we can look at doing some signage of informing the public, Marion Messenger, we can work on that.
Be great, thank you.
Go ahead, Grant.
Yeah. So Mike, on that point, do you happen to recall offhand what the federal requirements permit or omit?
High level, it's anything that you can operate yourself. So bicycle, you can have an e-bike that has an assist on it, ADA accommodation. So if you have to have a wheelchair that's completely electric, you can do that. No motorized vehicles other than maintenance vehicles. So obviously if the public works crews need to get out there to get access to the sanitary sewer, they can drive on it to get access to it. But otherwise, There are police officers that drive back there to patrol it just to make it a safe area to be on there, but it's limited to basically bikers and runners, and then ADA accommodations as needed or e-assist. But we can get more into the regulations on that. I'll work with legal on that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions on this motion?
I would just say maybe while I'm here, if people are hearing of people using motorized vehicles that should not be on there, please call the police department and they can respond to it and address it at that time.
Thank you for that. I think Sarah's comment is to the point that it may not be clear to people or perfectly clear to people what, what is allowed and isn't. So we may have a role in making sure it's clear. Okay, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor of approving the motion, approving the project calendar for the 2025 8th Avenue Bridge Repair and Boyson Trail Improvement Project, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved. Next item is a public hearing on the 2025 Highway 13 and Highway 151 Traffic Signal Cabinet Replacement Project. Public hearing is now open. We'll take a presentation and then take public comments.
Yep, so this is obviously one of our busiest intersections that we have in town. And so what we're doing is we are doing upgrades to the existing traffic signal to improve those. Just gonna give you a quick list of the items that we're improving. I know some of them will be engineer speak, so I'll try and keep them limited. But the actual traffic cabinet is what we call a TS1, which is an old style. We're upgrading it to a NEMA TS2 type cabinet. There's a new controller and conflict monitor with the fiber switch being added. We're adding a backup system, battery backup, so that when the power goes out, we don't have to go put up stop signs on our busiest intersection. We're relocating the emergency vehicle preempt to the new cabinet. So that's when fire or police are responding to a call and their GPS that's in their vehicles, when it knows the lights and sirens are on, it actually gives them green lights ahead. So we're just moving the location of that. Installing a PTZ camera. So that's a pan tilt zoom camera, so we can see what's going on at the intersection. Adding advanced video detection for southbound, eastbound, northbound, and westbound. Installing a 3-section head for westbound turning southbound. Removing the old detection poles and repairing handhold and replacing the video detection wiring on the northeast stop bar camera. So a lot of little things, but obviously it does cost some money to do that. We did get 2 bids. The low bid came in from Price Industrial at $140,640, 132% of the engineer's estimate. We are still recommending this move forward. We do have money in the budget for this. Completion date of 10/17/25, $500 per calendar day. There is a disincentive of $50 per minute because we actually have to de-energize and put this into a full stop condition. And obviously we want to keep that to a minimum because of the amount of traffic that goes to this intersection. So we do have that in there so that they work as diligently as possible so that we can go back to the colors on the traffic signal. So we are recommending proceeding with the contract, plans, and bond.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Anyone here to address council either in favor or in opposition to this measure, please come forward. We'll ask the staff if we received comments outside the meeting.
I have not received any.
I have not.
Please note that for the public record. We'll close the public hearing and proceed to the motion.
Mayor, I move to approve project calendar regarding the 2025 Highway 13 and Highway 151 Traffic Signal Cabinet Replacement Project as follows. Resolutions 32388 to 32389.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the project calendar for the 2025 Highway 13 and Highway 151 Traffic Signal Cabinet Replacement Project. including resolutions 32388 through 32389. Discussion. Mike, even though this is above your estimate, we were budgeted for the additional amount?
Yeah, so this comes
Okay.
out of our traffic signal funds, so we do
Okay.
have enough in the budget for that.
Okay.
It's just over our estimate.
And just out of curiosity, what is the traffic count through that intersection? Do you know? Or
I don't know.
you don't? It's okay.
Yep.
That's just something curious.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Grant.
Mike, what's the day and time of day that the outage would be scheduled for?
When we get farther along, we'll look at that. Obviously, we'll try and plan it so that it's not during peak hour.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Steve?
Mike, can you tell us kind of what aspects of this bid caused the bid to go 32% over the engineering estimate? Is there some specific area that is different?
I did not, there's a detailed bid tab in there. I would say a lot of it has to do with the fact that this is a very busy intersection. We're upgrading it and we're putting a very tight time frame so they can shut it down for 2 hours. And that's why we have the disincentive in there. There's a lot of stuff they can do pre-work so that they're ready to
Yeah.
go. But this was also designed and estimated by an outside firm. So sometimes we are not perfect on our estimates.
Okay,
Nothing that concerns me.
all right.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the project calendar for the 2025 Highway 13 and Highway 151 traffic signal cabinet replacement project, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Motion is approved.
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 25-07, amending chapter 126, article 1 of the Marion Code of Ordinances regarding building code. Final consideration.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve the final consideration of ordinance number 25-07, amending chapter 126, article 1 of the Code of Ordinances regarding the building code. This is the final consideration. Any discussion? All those in favor of ordinance number 25-07, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved.
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 25-08, amending chapter 126, article 2 of the Marion Code of Ordinances regarding plumbing code. This will be final consideration.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 25-08, amending chapter 126, article 2 of the Code of Ordinances regarding the plumbing code. Again, this is the final consideration for this one. Any discussion? All those opposed? All those in favor of ordinance number 25-08, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. All right. The motion is approved.
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 25-09, amending chapter 126, article 4 of the Marion Code of Ordinances regarding mechanical code, and this is the final consideration.
Second?
All those in favor? I'm sorry. It's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 25-09, amending chapter 126, article 4 of the Code of Ordinances regarding mechanical code. Discussion. Okay. Now we'll vote. All those in favor of the final consideration of ordinance number 25-09, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved.
Your Honor, I move to approve ordinance number 25-10, amending chapter 126, article 6 of the Marion Code of Ordinances regarding housing code, and this is our final consideration.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 25-10, amending chapter 126, article 6 of the Code of Ordinances regarding the housing code. Discussion? All those in favor of the final consideration of ordinance number 25-10, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. The motion is approved.
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 25-11, amending chapter 247 of the Marion Code of Ordinances regarding property maintenance, and this is the final consideration.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 25-11, amending chapter 223 of the Code of Ordinances regarding nuisance abatement. No, I'm sorry, regarding property maintenance. Discussion. Okay, this is ordinance number 25-11 regarding property maintenance, not nuisance abatement.
It's correct on the agenda. The screen is wrong.
Okay, that's the confusion. Okay, so we're talking about the amendment regarding property maintenance. Any questions on that? Okay, all those in favor of ordinance number 25-11, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Okay, the final consideration of that ordinance has been approved.
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 25-12, amending chapter 223 of the Marion Code of Ordinances regarding nuisance abatement. Final consideration.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 25-12, amending chapter 247 of the Code of Ordinances regarding nuisance abatement. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor of approving ordinance number 25-12, amending chapter 223 of the Code of Ordinances regarding nuisance abatement, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the final consideration of that amendment is also approved. Gary's happy. The next item is a public hearing regarding the request to rezone properties from undesignated to rural residential for properties located at 5,000 and 5,004 North 10th Street. Do we have a presentation? Nicole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a city-initiated zoning request. This property was annexed into Marion in December of '24. When an applicant doesn't come forward after an annexation, there is a 60-day waiting period. The city then initiates that zoning request. So that is what we are doing here today. The two properties sit on the one parcel outlined in red on this screen along North 10th Street, just north of Lau Park there. The property is just over 5 acres. Staff is recommending zoning it to RR1, which is rural residential. The character of the property fits best with that zoning designation. The 1-unit house and detached garage are not hooked up to city services. They're septic and well, and the cross-section of North 10th Street is a rural cross-section. So we did compare some other potential zoning districts as we were going even through the annexation process, and then afterwards, as we were looking at the city-initiated zoning. We felt that some of the other zoning districts that could be compatible just didn't quite fit right with the character of this property being more agricultural in nature, being a larger lot, large setbacks of that single family dwelling on the lot. Staff did feel like that rural residential fits in with the surrounding zoning districts around the property. It is kind of out there on its own being rural residential. However, that is something that is common practice of staff when properties are annexed into the city that have been developed and there is not a development proposal coming forward with the zoning request. We look at what that property looks like today in appearance. So without kind of that preliminary plat coming forward, without that concept coming forward with the zoning request, we base it off of that character of the property. That does align with how we've looked at it compared to our future land use map of our currently adopted Marion 2045 comprehensive plan. The rural residential does align with estate residential as a land use designation. This property, though, is designated on that future land use map as low intensity. The low intensity zoning districts that would be compatible range from a 1-unit dwelling to 2-unit dwellings. And without having, like I said, that concept or that preliminary plat to go with it, it's not something that staff has historically kind of zoned smaller lots without that concept. The property owners don't plan on subdividing this lot. However, in the future, if it's sold or if they decide to rezone and subdivide that lot, it would have to comply with that low-intensity future land use designation. The Planning and Zoning Commission did approve this request at 6-0 because it is common practice, like I said, to base annexed properties off of the character of that lot when there is not a proposal coming forward for subdividing the property into smaller lots.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. At this time, the public hearing is open. For anyone to address council either in favor or in opposition to this measure, please come forward. Okay, seeing no one's coming forward, we'll ask the staff if we received comments outside the meeting.
We have not.
I have not received any.
Okay, please note that for the public record. We'll close the public hearing and proceed to the motion.
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 25-14, approving a request to zone property from undesignated to RR1 rural residential for properties located at 5000 and 5004 North 10th Street, Marion, Iowa. City of Marion, this is the initial consideration.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 25-14, approving the request to rezone property from undesignated to rural residential for 5000 and 5004 North 10th Street. Discussion or questions for staff, for Nicole? Yes, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, Nicole, question. I'm assuming this is on their own, they have their own well system
Yes.
on this site? Since if they stay as RR1, everything around is going to be with lots that are going to be city-provided services.
Correct.
So as they stay RR1, are they going to be able to stay on their own well system? Or do they have to switch over at some point in time since they're surrounded by city services? Are they going to have to switch over as well?
As a part of the subdivision with that the preserve at Lau Farm, services will be brought to the edges of their property for future tie-ons. They can sit using their current septic and well systems
Okay.
as long as they are maintained, don't fail. There are provisions from Lynn County Health that if there's city services within so many feet, then they are required to hook up. But as long as everything continues to function okay, they can continue on their own service.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions, any discussion on the motion? Oh, go ahead, Grant.
Just for clarity on Steve's question, for my purposes. So if they had a well failure or a septic system failure, that would be the trigger for them to tie on to city services?
Typically correct, yes.
Okay.
That's something that Lynn County Health kind of determines. They look at, the distance.
Okay, thanks.
Any other discussion? Questions? Okay. All those in favor of ordinance number 25-14, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Okay, the motion is approved. Next item is our second public forum, which is a time for comments from members of the public on any topic. Anyone here to address council, please come forward. Welcome.
As a former
Oh.
ELL teacher, I would
I'm
attend
sorry,
events.
would you please state your name?
Sorry, I wasn't sure. I was looking.
It's okay.
Yes, just the name. Is that all you
Name
need?
and address if you can. Thank
Okay,
you.
Jessica Radel, 1180 Mitchell Drive.
Thank you.
You're welcome. As a former ELL teacher, I would attend events that celebrated my students and families. I was often impressed with the active involvement Mayor Nick had in those activities that included diverse populations. Additionally, last Sunday, Mayor Nick and Councilman Gage showed their support at the Love Conquers Hate gathering. I would like to personally thank them for their public support. However, I want to highlight a significant and deeply concerning contradiction between the speeches delivered by Mayor Nick and the speeches given by Councilman Gage, as they are starkly different from the public statements issued by the city regarding equity. While the mayor's statements emphasize a commitment to equity, inclusion, and justice, the messages and public statements delivered by the city send a different signal, one that falls short of what I believe to be the mayor's commitment to equity. Equity cannot be selectively applied or diluted in delivery. When our city diverges from the values of the mayor claims to uphold, it creates confusion, erodes trust, and stalls progress. We need alignment, not just in words, but in purpose and action. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening. Thank you. I'm Anna Clymer, live at 2475 McGowan Boulevard in Marion. I am a co-lead for the Marion Alliance for Racial Equity and a member of the NAACP. I've lived in Marion for over 20 years, and I've lived in the United States for over 43 years. I appreciate all those that acknowledge we are all immigrants here, some more recent than others, some who came here through voluntary migration, some forced due to war or natural disasters, some adopted, like me. I also appreciate the proclamations that acknowledge the beautiful diversity of our community members, of our AAPI community and veterans today. We must confront hate, bias, anti-immigration, anti-LGBTQ, anti-refugee, anti-Black, anti-diversity, anti-humanity efforts wherever we find it. We continue to say hate has no place in our streets, in our schools, in our businesses, or our homes. When we see white supremacy and Nazi symbolism, like on the 19th of April, it is easy to say that is not who we are. Unfortunately, that's not how all our neighbors feel, here or in Cedar Rapids, in Lynn County, in Iowa, or the United States. And it serves as a chilling reminder that the hate and fear-mongering is only a neighbor away, or even a policy or law away. This is not an isolated event. It is a warning that resonates at our local and national politics level. Walking back policies for diversity, equity, inclusion, and human and civil rights for our most marginalized in our community. We see it in attacks of our schools, of our own city, of our libraries, of our books, of our country, of our systems, our state, even our universities, colleges, and our nation. It is a warning that resonates on social media when our city is attacked for creating proclamations to honor various groups of people. If you look back at Black History Month's post, you will see the dripping vitriol of those that want to attack those that stand alongside our Black and brown community members, those that are differently abled, those that identify as LGBTQ. Community members seeking Iowa representatives on our mayor, our city council, city staff, and neighbors for standing for inclusive policies and practices. At the Love Conquers Hate, MAR, and NAACP meetup this past Sunday, local speakers provided reflections on what love and community meant to them. MAR and NAACP encourage participants to continue to stay engaged, connected, and to take action. MAR will continue to promote alongside you, city staff, council, for a future rooted in love and solidarity against all threats towards our neighbors, families, and local communities. Thank you to all those that were invited to participate, from staff, from volunteers, commissions, and boards. Thank you, City Manager Ryan, for also participating, and Councilman Gage and Mayor Nick for being present, not just in words, but also in actions. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Essling, and I live at 2485 Ridgeview Way. And I am a board member of the Marion Alliance for Racial Equity. I am here tonight with this photo of my grandfather, who was a World War II veteran and a Pearl Harbor survivor. I am here tonight because our city recently experienced something that should never happen in our streets: a group of Nazis marching downtown waving flags of hate on Saturday, April 19th. The city's public response was frankly underwhelming. As of today, the Facebook post has garnered over 1,100 reactions, with many residents expressing disappointment and calling out the inadequate response. People in our community are watching, and they expect action and courage, not silence or half measures. Hate does not just go away when ignored, it festers, and our residents, especially our diverse neighbors, deserve to know that the city stands by them with real conviction. Your own equity statement means little if it isn't upheld when it matters most. We are grateful to those who immediately stood up for the values of love, dignity, and respect, including several local businesses uptown, who made strong public statements against hate without hesitation. We collectively hope that Marion is better than this, and that we can continue to reach higher together as Team Marion. As MAR, we are committed to elevating the voices and experiences of people of color and other minoritized community members, and to create spaces and culture that is truly welcoming for all. We invited community to join us at our community meetup, where we centered the message, "Love Conquers Hate." This was not only about responding to media-worthy moments like flags on our streets, it is about the everyday work of standing against hate whenever it shows up, in our neighborhoods, in our schools, in our policies and practices, and yes, in our streets. Let us reaffirm in both words and actions that Marion stands against hate and stands for a future where every neighbor is treated with dignity, respect, and belonging. Together, we can ensure Marion is not just a place we live, but a place where every single person truly belongs. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Brianna Clymer. I live at 2475 McGowan Boulevard in Marion. I've grown up in Marion for all of my 19 years, served on Mayor Abwasley's Youth Council, graduated from Linn-Mar, and now going to Kirkwood to study education. I'm also a board member of the Marion Alliance for Racial Equity. First, I want to thank you, Mayor Nick and Councilman Gage, for your consistent support of equity, diversity, and inclusion in our community and in city leadership. Thank you for your encouragement that continues to drive leaders like me. Like many of you, individually and collectively, the Marion Alliance for Racial Equity refuses to stand by while extremism attempts continue to try to take root wherever it shows up. We call on every resident to do more than condemn hate and fear and to actively dismantle it. Social justice requires more than quiet disapproval. It demands action. We need to speak out against discrimination, educate ourselves and others about what authentic community looks like. We must advocate for policies that protect every neighbor in order to foster a community where diversity is celebrated. Hate and fear thrives in silence, in the false comfort that this is someone else's problem. But history warns us, neutrality is complicity. We must not assume injustice, and injustices will resolve itself. The Marion Alliance for Racial Equity and the NAACP of Cedar Rapids invited the community to join us on Sunday, May 4th at Uptown Marion for a powerful gathering centered on unity, compassion, and the belief that love conquers hate. This meetup aimed to bring neighbors together to demonstrate that Marion is a town that chooses kindness, welcomes diversity, and values standing together in solidarity. In a time when division can feel overwhelming, we are choosing connection. A message I shared at the meetup is, as someone preparing to be a teacher, I want students to know that their identity is not a problem. Their history is not a threat. Their voice is not too much. I want them to know that in our classroom, love wins. That's why I believe we must come together, students, teachers, parents, and communities, to defend what education is truly about: connection, compassion, and courage. Because when we lead with love, hate loses its power. When we build community, fear loses its grip. And when we tell the truth, we give our students the tools to build a better world. A friend of mine, a senior at Marion Independent School District, stated that sense of belonging changes everything. It reminds her that even though we still have a long way to go, there's power in empathy, in inclusion, and in choosing to care about someone else's experience. Local speakers provided reflections on what love and community meant to them. Marion Alliance and NAACP 4013 encouraged participants to continue to stay engaged engaged, connected, and to take action. Marion Alliance for Racial Equity promotes standing for a future rooted in love and solidarity against all threats toward our neighbors, families, and children, and local communities. Marion is not a place where extremism should find safe harbor on our streets, in our city, in social media, in our schools, or in our neighborhoods. Every resident, business, educator, and leader must take a stand. When hate or fear-mongering appears, wherever it is, whoever it targets, push back, educate, advocate. This is our shared fight. This is our community. Our collective action continues to define our community's future. Let's ensure it is one of love, belonging, and equity. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. I don't know if our city attorney wanted to address just some of the comments on what the city is allowed to address and comment on. So go ahead.
Absolutely, I can do that, Your Honor. As a point of clarification, the First Amendment does not allow us to say who can and cannot demonstrate or march in the city of Marion. That's not anything we can negotiate. So anybody who wants to march, assemble, or demonstrate here will be allowed to, so long as they do not commit any acts of violence or other crimes. There is no federal definition of hate speech. It's not a crime. Therefore, we can't say your message is hateful. You can't be here. Our only restrictions can be non-content based. They can be time, place, and location. The city's social media post stated in, I believe its very second statement, that the views of the protesters do not reflect the views of the community. We then also stated that we have to let them come here and do their demonstration, followed by a paragraph that reflects our equity statement. I believe it was borrowed heavily from that we're a community where all people should feel welcome, despite what these protesters had to say.
Okay. We'll go on to to council comments. We'll start with Randy. Okay, Will, Sarah.
Council office hours at the farmer's market. Just a reminder, it's at Willowwood Park now, at the pool, Saturday morning from 8 to 11. So hope people are attending the farmer's market as well as coming to see the council, and we can talk, or I'll be there. And then we'll let you cover the other piece. Just a reminder that there are some free events coming up this summer. One starts already May 21st, I could look, with free Zumba out at Lau Park that evening. And then in June, we start our Sunrise Yoga series on Saturday mornings, as well as Down Dogs in Uptown, which are 2 Wednesdays of the month, and I'll cover those later. So, and then I just want to do a shout out, since I was unable to make the last council meeting, but the Healthy Kids Day, the city showcase was phenomenal. We had over 1,100 people there, and we're still hearing about it from the Y perspective. So, and there's a little video on the front of the page of the Y one of our staff did, but that's just a phenomenal partnership. And once again, another example of, we're better together and better with a partner. And when we work together, all the great things we can do. So that's kind of it for now. I'll let you cover the other stuff.
Me? I got a couple things. First of all, I had the privilege to speak at the Love Conquers Hate event on Sunday. It was just great to see so much community, so many people come out to that. It was a beautiful day. So thank you guys for the invite to speak at that. And then I wanted to give my council colleagues just an update on our 988 discussion on Tuesday, just because, we had talked about questions of funding. And so this week, since then, I've been talking with the leader of Hope Walk. They have a grant application. Haven't filled it out yet. Obviously, been talking with Ryan and staff about cost estimates for those 988 stickers for certain city vehicles. And the leader of Hope Walk said this seems like something they'd be 100% in support of. So hopefully we can just fill out the grant and have it covered that way. So I just want to give that update to you guys, since I hadn't spoken to you guys about it since Tuesday. So some good news.
Yeah, just one comment. A great milestone in terms of the Central Plaza project, getting that essentially buttoned up. So again, congratulations and thank you for all the hard work that every stakeholder put into that. It's been a long haul, and I think we're starting to see the large volume construction kind of at the end of the tunnel for the uptown area. So it's a great amenity. I was entertained with kids who were already on the super duper, whatever you call it. I don't even know, climbing structure, I guess. I just really look forward for that to be fully operational and truly a four-season amenity. Other than that, I just wish everybody a good weekend.
Yeah, I could not attend the May 4th event, but I would have to say, I think the turnout was absolutely a terrific response to the April 19th event. So I appreciate everybody that did show up. And I also appreciate all the thought that has gone into your comments that you provided tonight. So I know that took a lot of time to do the preparation that you did, to say the words that you wanted to say, and we thank you.
Thank you. For my part, I've been very busy since the last council meeting, so just a little update. We had the ribbon cutting on the Linn-Mar Educational Leadership Center. If you haven't seen that, it's a beautiful building. That was a very nice event. Of course, the city showcase was an amazing event where you really realize how many young families we have in our city. It's not hard when you go to that event. It's not hard to understand the statistic of 28% of our population being 18 or under. We have a lot of young families and people of all backgrounds, and it was just a beautiful day to see all of these people coming and enjoying all the activities and learning about the city services at the showcase. Appreciate everybody's work that put that together and participated, all the departments. The community build ribbon cutting took place for their most recent home. That's a wonderful program that the city partners with Medco on. We use some of our ARPA dollars to help seed that program, seed fund that program, which provides students with opportunities to learn skills, but also helps to provide affordable housing in our community, good quality affordable housing, one home at a time. But hopefully when people see investment in a neighborhood, into a home in a neighborhood like that, it incents others to put a little time and love and money into surrounding homes. And it helps preserve that stock of affordable housing in our community, which is so vital. I also had the chance to speak at the annual awards luncheon for the partnership between Linn-Mar and Marion for the students opposed to drugs and alcohol. There's an annual luncheon that honors all those leaders, those student leaders, and I've spoken at that for 10 years and helped to present the awards for 10 years. And it's always one of my favorite events because so often we are good at telling our youth what they should be doing or what they're doing wrong. And that's a program where we tell them that they're doing the right things and making good choices. And we get to honor them for that. And their parents are present, or their guardians are present with them. And it's just a wonderful event. So that took place last week. We had our kickoff meeting with the Workforce Innovation Council, with the Economic Alliance, which is the Mayor's Growth Initiative that the mayors of Hiawatha, Cedar Rapids, and Marion have undertaken to grow the population of the region. So we had the kickoff again a couple of weeks ago for that, for the Workforce Innovation Council. And we also had the plaza ribbon cutting yesterday, which is a high point really for all of us. We have worked very hard as a city to provide amazing opportunities for people and to provide these great places where people can come together as a community. And to me, it was a milestone where we got to pause and really celebrate all the amazing progress this community has made. We've come a long ways, and it's nice periodically to just pause and celebrate. And it was an amazing turnout. Thank you to all who worked on it. Thank you to all who worked on the project over the last few years. You know, this side of the room here, and everyone who had a hand in it, orchestrating that event yesterday. And it was an amazing turnout, and I'm really grateful for the recognition plaque. Thank you, Seth. I really appreciate that. But to me, that kind of a space, all the spaces we're creating, you know, I appreciate hearing from the speakers this evening, your heartfelt comments, and it's we share those views. To me, we can't get into people's minds and change their hearts, but we can show them through our example by creating these spaces where the community can come together, can have opportunities to interact, can have opportunities to share community with everyone who lives in this city, so that people can break down the divisions and learn that we all have more in common than what divides us. And creating opportunities for all people to enjoy their lives and to have great quality of life is what is making us a more diverse community. And I want us to continue to focus on these things, as well as do whatever is within our ability and power to guide the community to be open and to be welcoming and to do the right thing, to be on the right side of history. But also, in my opinion, it's these positive acts like the Love Conquers Hate rally that brought so many people together to just show who we are, and sponsoring the intercultural festival that the city does, and events like that give people the opportunity to meet their neighbors. It's through interaction, it's through exposure, it's through education that we change people's mindsets. And it's a longer process. You can't force it on people, and it's a longer process, but it's the way that I have learned in my last 50 years as an immigrant living in this community, that you do win people's hearts is just through who you are, showing them who you are, and sharing yourself with them, and sharing your values with them, and that your kindness, your love. And so I see a project like the Plaza Project in that way. It's a place where the whole community can come together and actually interact with who we live with in this community, who we call ourselves community with. And that's the importance of those place-making projects, just like Lowell Park, just like the Alley, just like the YMCA, just like our most amazing library, which is a community center. That's where we all come together. So I've gone on long enough. Yes. Marion Arts Festival is coming up. Is that next week? Next Saturday. Another event where we get to all come together. So hopefully everyone will come out and enjoy that. And the number one-day art festival in the country. So something for all of us to be proud of in this community. So with that, thank you all for joining us. Thank you for listening to me, and we are adjourned.